Okay, quick Wednesday morning radar update. So, we've got 4 on the floor today, 4 through the opening range, agreeing on all markets. Let's have a quick sneak. I'm just looking at the basket of commodities. Copper had a nice pop, didn't it? And doing okay in that area by the looks of things. Let's quickly have a look at Brent. So Brent, normal first retrace there. Let's just quickly have a look. We expected a bit of a pop in the metals today with a little bit of dollar weakness coming back in. Moving on from there, cable just moving up from the right side of that reverse vol base. And as talked about last night, Bitcoin, the swing point we noted was this day here. Why this day here? Well, this one here just doesn't give any reward to risk, a big wide bar. The market loves to just trade. It's an ignore, and then it's, hang on a minute, it's just tested through the lows of that. People will actually key off that. In my view, this was the area we stalked. This is after the move, huge move for those who rode it. High five to those at trading bases, because I don't trade out of hours markets these days. Try not to anyway. But high five to those who did. Moving on, already off piste. Let's quickly just jump into the volume leaders and see what's moving. Into the large caps, it is 10:30. The sun has just come out. We should have traded 29% to be on average volume. I'm going to put 30% in there because we're just getting close to that. And we are on volume today. The market's in a happy mood today. On the large caps, and I think probably on the small caps, looking at my portfolio, just been bubbling under the surface of all-time highs on the portfolio recently. If we have a good day today, I expect, I won't curse it, but Fever Tree, I'll just punch this in again because without trying not to go too far off piste, but when it comes to gas in the tank, a peg ratio of 8.71, this is an ex-leader. It's now a efficient large cap stock rather than a small cap inefficient stock, and it just doesn't fit what I trade towards. It might do in the future, you never know, but lethargic growth, though it is accelerating, it is still very lethargic. If you look at the low, sort of 8% on the pre-tax and turnover 20%. So it's that's comparing with the normalized numbers, I will add as well, because I compare like for like. So from the normalized, I should say. Let's buzz through these. Potential reverse vol base on Menzies into there. It's a return to profit, return to growth, small tick up in the turnover, lower high in the numbers. Games Workshop, this was the let me just double check. Yeah, we'll wait for the new numbers to drop on that. I don't think they've updated in ShareScope yet. It's a case of what's it trading towards next, isn't it? St James Place, fantastic, just grinding on higher. ITV, you know, the early bird sort of setup we looked at was here. We had the I don't buy breakouts in efficient main market stocks, but because it contradicts what I do on you know, I like to do the exact opposite on swing trades. You know, I'm not buying momentum moves in large cap main market UK stocks. It's slim pickings in that area. So I buy pullbacks in main market stocks, but this was the first time it hit our screens on this day here, exactly that day there, and it made a near 100% move from there, plus 80% from the base break. It was plus 90%. Yeah, I think you know, it's hanging in there, isn't it? It's already broken trend for my style actually, but it doesn't mean it doesn't recover. 3 more, coulda, woulda, shoulda. Let's just buzz through these and get into the small caps. Boku continues locking in some gains for those who are riding that one, I think, today. Telit sadly got bought out, didn't it? Or got a bid on it. Hollywood Bowl. Oh. These stocks like this, you know, in the pandemic, it was like a moth to the flame on these stocks. You know, personally, we was looking for the best growth stocks in the market. Well, I'd just done shallow pullbacks and held relative strength. If you want to see one of those, you know, it seemed like everyone was trying to pick up beaten up stocks and not the best stocks, and you know, this is a horrible journey to go on. Up, down, up, down, up, down, up, and then it goes on a little bit of a move. But you know, we were looking at these stocks. You know, look at the date here, March, held up. You know, this is what the pandemic did. If go and have a look at ZM in the US as well, because that was a swing one in my world, and that one ripped off. But I actually got involved with this one here, and you know, it's up plus 200% for us. So, and percent isn't important. It's the multiples of risk. And you know, if you have to sit through 40% swings and say 50% swings, you've got 4R on the table at 200. But if you're sitting through 25% swings, you've got 8R. You've got double the profit. You know, position sizing. Into the small cap volume leaders. I swore I'd just rip through this, but I always get sidetracked. Got some jobs I want to do. 31% we should have traded to be on average volume. Small cap's doing okay as well. So, in order of sector, EPWN, it had gas in the tank. It's got pretty high debt multiples on this one after that big tick down last year, so it's not a favourite of mine, but I see it. SDG continues. Punch that one in as well. SDG. We know where this is on the GTRS. It's number 17, and it's just ground higher. Amazing. For a pretty boring old area. EMH, no forward on that one. So industrial metals are starting to see a little bit of interest, aren't they? What else is on There's a few REITs in there. Industrial metals and mining is the main leader in there today. VLG hanging in there. A lot of these medical equipment stocks, or a lot of the ones on the back of the pandemic, what was, you know, they went on this pretty good run. I actually took a position in this one, and I actually flattened it as well and moved on. Moved into something what was a little bit more. They tend to be a bit boring, a bit like healthcare stocks, you know. It is what it is. It is healthcare, isn't it? You know, in the end of the day. But they tend to be a little bit boring. Sometimes they can get some real good beta. I did get involved at the time, and then I flattened it to move into hopefully faster vehicles, adding to ones what were doing good for me and trading new ad points. So it's hanging in there. It's just kind of, a lot of stocks can do this. You know, that the food producers and that did a similar run, didn't they? And I'll just put the 10-month up there. You know, they like to let the trend catch up. If they're not going down, you know, they're actually just going sideways. Constructive, but, you know, they're not high beta sort of movers really as a sector. So they tend to, you know, stocks what go up like this and then they start to base out high in the sky. Certain sectors, you know, you see the trend catch up with the price action, and then they'll be ready to move again. We call this a squeeze. So, you know, it's just trading sideways, not selling off, not getting bought up either. But look at the moving averages from wide to tight again. We call that the squeeze. Moving on. REITs. SOS continues there. This is actually a lose less actually, so though it is a very structurally, it was a very good structurally base from a couple of weeks ago. Was it last week? Wouldn't register on the GTRS. We'd just call it a CTP. Trademark shown. Calculated total punt. I'm a growth trader. I'm not trading on anything else, so I know everyone will shout, yeah, but this, but that. Yeah, it's not what I trade towards. So that is that. Pretty good day for me actually. We've got some good pops in VLX. So VLX is basically kind of similar, you know, it had a good run. It's a little bit wide on the averages, but we had this reverse vol base here. It came back in. I actually bought it here. It came back in, through a swing point, off it went again. I actually added to it up here as well. Looks stupid, doesn't it? Guess what? That's why I sit here today, because I only buy strength and add to things while working. And so it's come back in again. Do you know what the downside of this trade is for me? It stops me out and it's a loser and I move on to the next one. But the upside is, you know, it holds this right side of this new base. We've got quite clearly tightening price action there. And I add to it again above here if it lets me. I wouldn't be able to add many though. I'd be able to add a very thin slither of shares by trailing a little bit more. So that is my plan on there as well. Okay, I'll leave it there.